Thanks for joining us today. We'll be getting started in a moment, but first I'd like to give you a brief introduction to Web to Market. That'll also give us the opportunity to let anybody else who is going to join us. Web to Market, I started Web to Market 20 years ago, and in that time we've grown to have 20 employees. We work with a variety of companies. We provide custom development, design, hosting, and digital marketing. Let me introduce you to George, our digital marketing specialist. George has a wide variety of experience in finance and as an entrepreneur, and having built expertise in digital marketing. Our digital marketing services are comprehensive. We offer a lot of services covering national SEO, pay-per-clicks, content marketing, responsive website design, and much more. With that, I will turn you over to George and his capable hands and let him educate you about content marketing.
Well, thank you very much, Brad. Appreciate that. I'm very excited to be here, to have the opportunity to have you here today, and I hope that I can give you a context for content marketing, which will be helpful to understand how to move your website forward. I have an agenda here for the day, and that is we're going to cover website marketing. What are the problems with your SEO site and content? I say problem. I just mean to imply that changes are always occurring in online marketing, and we've had some big changes which make content even more effective and more critical. Then I want to talk about how content and SEO move hand in hand, and so I've got some slides on that. Also want to talk about using why to use content marketing, just to show you the effects that it can have on your website success. And then finally, I present the components that we have for marketing, content marketing strategy. We always provide a unique strategy based on somebody's business goals, the industry they're in, their competition. But we have a common set of components that go into strategy. So I just want maybe to present a typical one. And I will just tell you, if you have questions, please go ahead and type them in the chat box. I have a slide number down in the lower right hand corner. If you want to refer to a specific slide, you can do that as well. So let's get started. I call it a problem, but for the clients that I have helped here at Web to Market, their problem was just that, not enough content, not fresh content. And so let's start by talking about what has changed. And the changes that have occurred have been large, and they are calling for additional content. Google today is fixated on content. As long as it's good content, engaging content, and as long as they can read it, then the more pages, the more content on the site, they're going to favor your website. They're going to give your website more authority, okay, more relevance to any search term. But in addition to that, a bigger change has occurred perhaps, and that is buyer behavior. Consumers now, they look online for information. They trust information on the internet. They trust internet reviews. They certainly trust them more than a salesperson. So consumers have more power in that they have the information in their hands and they can look at it any time. Business executives spend on an average 10 hours per week reading information online that will help them make purchase decisions and other decisions. Much of that time is spent on LinkedIn, And it comes to this critical point in terms of content, and that is 2/3 of buyers are going to end up purchasing the brand which first supplied useful information for their decision. It's an amazing statistic, and it's one I hope that sticks in our minds, because that means we should be the ones out there supplying useful information, both on our website and syndicated across the internet. It also has the benefit not only of helping along conversion. If you look at some of the statistics that are on this slide, you notice that up on the upper right-hand side, 82% of consumers have a more positive opinion of the brand that supplies information. 70% feel closer connected. 60% actually say they enjoy reading content and relating to their brand. And 70% says they prefer to learn about a brand through a post rather than ads. Well, that's perfectly understandable. We don't move into ads trusting them. 72% believe they form a relationship with a brand as a result of custom content. So the consumer has changed, and our content on our website needs to reflect that change. I want to talk about the content that we need on our website in some extent. We need to have continuous comment, and one of the reasons is that we need to compete organically. We need to drive traffic to our websites organically. SEO and content work together to do this. E-commerce websites need a lot of original content on category pages. When I look at websites, I don't see very much content on category pages. That is one place where most of the websites I look at fall down. On a product page, websites need more content on the product page than the static information that's on the template for their product page. In other words, if you look at two of your product pages and you look at the content that's similar between them, and that includes related products at the bottom and the header, look at what's actually text content on that page in the code, and your product description needs to be a greater amount of content than that to be significant content in Google's eyes. That is my rule of thumb. Also, e-commerce sites need content which informs the buyer on his decision, his or her decision. So those are the types of content. That's what the buyer's demanding information means for website content. Website syndication, social and other websites, we want to use content to build brand awareness and brand loyalty, content that informs the purchaser's purchase decision at each step along their purchase cycle, and then content which creates backlinks to the website. That's very important too. Content is the gold standard for backlinking to the website. And before I leave, I should say the chart, of course, is comparing average conversion rates of websites that use content marketing and without content marketing. Now, content marketing across the internet certainly forms more of a connection for the purchaser and results in higher conversion rates. So that's another consideration. I wanted to just mention the future. Google is constantly innovating. They're trying to understand human meaning and what the user is really looking for when they enter a search term. So Google is now capable of looking at the whole phrase, and they interpret that to understand search intent. That's a step above keywords. Keywords are still important, but they look at the semantics of the phrase rather than just specific keywords or in addition to specific keywords. You notice that voice search, more and more people are using voice search. It's simple, and it certainly makes search easy. And so that makes long tail searches easy. So that may say, well, we better have more pages that represent long tail keywords. Then there's predictive search results. If you type in a phrase to Google, it can understand if you want diverse results as opposed to a list of similar results, or if you want recent or past results. And of course, Google has for some time been able to read content of videos, and now they can read content of embedded PDFs that you put on the site. So Google never stops moving either. The diagrams that I have there, I recently did searches on my phone. I put in simple phrases. I could have put in long tail phrases, but I put in simple phrases just to illustrate. When I looked for a salad, I got an ad. I could go to a Panera near me to get a salad, and then I could put in I can choose from kale, potato salad, pasta, etc. Down below that are recipes for salads. Down below that are information, health information on salads. So in that case, Google is predicting that I want diverse results, and then I'll get to choose from there and move on. On the other hand, if I just simply type in dentist, it shows me results from within a quarter mile of my home. I live in a fairly an area that's high in represented by the medical industry, so I have a lot of them. So there I get a list of similar things, dentists that are close to me, so that I can make this change. So Google's constantly improving the way that they can search. So I hope in 3 slides I've convinced you that there is very good reason for you to consider content. And so we've seen the challenges that we have with shifting consumer behavior and Google's continued technological improvement. Before we go any further, I just wanted to define what I mean when I talk about content marketing and SEO. They go hand in hand, especially for an e-commerce site. You can't do SEO without content, and so they're kind of 2 sides of the same coin. I've pulled the definition from Content Marketing Institute. This is a great resource. Anybody can become a good content marketer by paying attention to this website. And their definition says that content marketing is owning as opposed to renting media. It's a marketing process to attract and retain customers by consistently creating and curating content in order to change or enhance a consumer behavior. And that consumer behavior, of course, is a purchase. But they're basically defining it as owning. In other words, we create content unique to us and put it across the internet, as opposed to renting, which would be paid, interruptive type advertising. You might have heard of HubSpot. Most people have. They're a pretty recognized brand name. HubSpot has made the term inbound marketing quite large, and inbound marketing really uses content marketing in combination with SEO, and then also in combination with creating landing pages and email marketing, but essentially content marketing and SEO. So looking at what content we're talking about, on the website, we're looking, of course, at web pages, PDF documents, blogs, videos, case studies, portfolios, and on and on. Off-site, we're talking about social posts, press releases, blogs, citations, white papers, how-to guides, news and videos, just whatever we can post that is going to be helpful to our buyer. So that is how we look at content marketing. SEO, my definition is whatever will help Google understand our content. That's maybe perhaps not the most helpful definition, but Google makes a lot of money by displaying relevant search results, and they're very good at it. And so I want to try to explain this in a very simple way. Google shows web pages that are relevant and popular. And relevant adds up to what is called, what you probably have heard the phrase, on-page optimization. Popularity relates to off-page optimization. So when we look at relevance, there's three elements: relevant and engaging content, which is web pages and other things on web pages, videos, PDFs, etc. They're organized around keywords, which means that we need to understand how our buyers search, and then they're readable by the search engines, which means that we do meta tagging and other things which make Google understand what we're doing. Popularity is essentially the quantity and quality of the inbound links that we have, which also uses content, and social signals, which is people who like, share, and engage with our content on social sites. So, and content is used in all of that too. Just some information about Google. They grade on the curve. In other words, if you want to be first, all you have to do is beat every other competitor. When you do a search, you look at how many pages Google's considering. It might be 2 million. So you just have to be better than the other guys. There's no definite point you have to assume, except just to be better than competitors. They have a local and a national page format. That's kind of important because some people are competing with a string of local stores. Others are competing on a national level. You have a totally different approach to those two page formats. And Google naturally favors optimized websites with greater amount of relevant content. So that is, when I talk about SEO, that is how I conceive of it. And I just wanted to show you a pyramid of what I think are the elements of SEO success. The very bottom is understanding how our buyers search for us, and looking at how our competitors are using keywords. And then we map that out to the website. So we create a website. The sitemap of our website has one keyword for each square on our sitemap. Each page is going to represent to Google one specific keyword phrase. So that is, and then of course there's also other issues there, which are, is it viewable on all devices? Is it a responsive design that will adapt to any, whether it's a phone or a tablet or a desktop? After that, now we consider that to be about 40% of SEO. Most sites that I look at are lacking in that 40%. After that, we have a optimized content plan, and that is as big a factor. And that refers to continuing to publish on the website and syndicating across the internet all the types of content that we talked about previously. Then 10% of it is social signals, which is of course our social sites and publishing information there and how it's received. And then the last part is measuring and improving what we're doing. So those three slides really just kind of pinpoint for us what we are going to think about when we talk about content marketing and SEO. Now I have several slides that just want to talk about how content marketing and SEO overlap and merge, because SEO needs content and content needs to be optimized. So, the common perception of SEO or content marketing may be that they're separate channels, because there's a name for each. But I recently did a search for content marketing and SEO, you notice that that the results that Google gives me say technical SEO or content marketing versus SEO, content marketing versus SEO, do small business owners need both, etc. So the diagram on the right shows that what I think is an incorrect view of SEO and content marketing, which is that they're two separate activities. Rather, the reality of content and SEO is that they are integrated. They're actually very integrated. When we market, we do very little content marketing that isn't optimized, and the vast majority of our SEO is content marketing. They differ slightly, and this is the way they differ. SEO is a much narrower and more technical activity. Content marketing is a much broader activity and more holistic. This further explains it. SEO demands content. Content marketing is production of quality content. So you've heard the phrase content is king, and it is today on the internet. SEO needs word substance and quality content organized around keywords, but SEO is the practical application. SEO demand keywords. Content marketing means using those keywords. SEO demands incoming links. Content marketing introduces those links. Content marketing is the gold standard, the best way to create links. And SEO demands fresh content. Google rewards sites that are constantly publishing content. Content marketing is an ongoing activity. So they have much more in similarity than they do. They're much more effective working together than they do different. So I think you're beginning to see that we feel content marketing is a major part of SEO, and it is important. I'm just going to go very quickly through this. Survey of SEO professionals says that the search engines are focusing on the best possible user experience, which means that relevant information stands to gain more visibility. You notice that there's a correlation between the website size, number of keywords, and organic traffic. Panda, of course, being a major Google revision that drove content into importance. Here it notes that 60% of business decision makers say branded content helps them make better product decisions. 61% of consumers are more likely to purchase goods from businesses that offer custom content. And finally, this startling fact, marketers are investing $12.5 billion in online content. And that has just grown dramatically over the last couple of years. And it's going to continue to grow, I believe. So, all of that leading to now an opportunity to share with you the components of our content marketing strategy, which we have used. We use on each account, obviously, as I stated before, we provide a custom solution for everyone we work for, and most of them use number 1 and number 2, the first parts of these, and it really depends on the industry, the competition, and other factors, but typically they involve these components. The first thing we do is we research how people search in your industry and what keywords drive purchases and those kinds of things. And then we map this information, one keyword per page to your website. If I were to ask people, this page of your website, what keyword is that focused on? Most of the time I get a blank stare. So it's vital to Google, so it should be vital to us. Then we optimize the existing content. We we either replace it or we edit it, and we optimize. We add tags, everything that Google wants to see to understand what's on the page, and we'll get to that. And we make sure there's 300, 400 words of good content, and that's on the category pages. Category pages are the most important on an e-commerce site because they typically represent the top level industry keywords that people search by. The product pages we work on regularly, and we want them to have more optimized content than static words on the standard product page template, which typically is around 100 words, 120 words. I would just be sure that you would have more content on it than that, and that the page is properly optimized. Then we begin to add content pages monthly. We will add 8 to 20 pages, depends on how fast we want to see results, and they be original content and optimized, and centered around the keyword strategy, trying to build strength for the top level keywords. And then we obviously can also add blogs, and blogs help us build, have a different maybe corporate voice and build relationship. And then we can syndicate content around the internet, first starting with social sites and industry sites, and then other sites. There's many of them, WordPress, Blogger, Tumblr, and those will help us develop incoming links. Content links are the gold standard. You want the keyword to be the anchor text of the link, and you can have 4 or 5 links per piece that you publish elsewhere on the internet. And we also then review existing links for low value and what Google will call toxic links. And toxic links are links that are of no value. And then another component that we often use is to test a display advertising campaign. Now, content will build brand loyalty, brand awareness, and bring traffic to the website. Display advertising can accomplish the same thing. Content and SEO are long-term strategies. Display advertising is probably shows quicker results in those areas. So if the display advertising campaign works well, then that complements very nicely the SEO and content work that we're doing. So here is information that I can give to you that on the text content on a web page. I noted before that the current best practice is to write the page around one particular keyword search phrase, and that just that's one idea for one page. I use a content calendar. I think it's a good idea for several reasons. First of all, you can plan your web pages in advance. You can plan on, you can put your keyword strategy into your content calendar, so you know that you're writing to build critical mass, into each keyword. And then, 2, it's just a record of what you got, so you can see, you can map your progress. So the body text of the page. It's good to remember that there's 2 audiences, the user and the search engines. However, you want to write for the user, but you want to finesse the keyword in. You don't have to do it often, but it shouldn't sound stuffed because you want it to be engaging writing. So you want at least 300 or 400 words, and should naturally contain keywords and related keywords. Keyword density used to be a factor. It is not a factor. I only use the keyword twice on a page, in the first paragraph and the last paragraph, typically, and it works very well. Try to use the keyword in bolded text and in the last sentence of the page, and at the end of the last sentence of the page. It's effective then to have 2 or 3 sentences at the end of the page, the last paragraph, be a call to action. Please sign up for our email or contact us by phone or review our catalog, and our staff is ready to assist you. And the keyword is right there at the end. So that's kind of a format for a text page, you could say. Now I have 3 pages on SEO optimization. Most of you are probably familiar with the idea of the title tag, the description tag, and the keyword meta tag. The title tag, obviously, all of these are in the HTML code, source code of the page. You can view it by right-clicking and viewing the source. And the title tag, you need to limit to 55 characters. It should contain the keyword as close to the beginning as possible. Capitalize all the words except for the minor words such as and as and and the description should be kind of a sales message. It should be limited to 155 characters, otherwise it gets cut off. That is also on the results page, right under the title tag on the Google search results page. And you can use keywords. It will probably help conversion. Google bolds them. People like to see their exact search phrase in the text. They know it's going to be something that's relevant. But using it does not improve your search ranking at all. So you can use it. I would suggest you use it, but the description is mostly today a sales message. Meta keywords are really not used anymore by the search engine. And that was because people just stuffed keywords into it. So we don't really, I don't think, on a discussion about this, most people don't think that Google looks at it. I use it to record what keyword this page is being written for. It may provide some value to Google. I believe it does not, but some people believe it does. And it's a guide for anybody coming along in the future as to what the page is attempting to rank for. Then we have a couple things connected with image files. Image files should be named for the main keyword in the page. So if the product is an L-shaped desk, then we named the image file L-shape-desk. So there's hyphens between the words in the keyword phrase. And if there's multiple images on it, then you can use secondary keywords or related keywords. Then the image has an alt tag or alt attribute. Search engines can't view pictures, so they rely on this alt tag to tell them what the picture is about. So it should also be the main keyword for the page, and in this case, hyphens aren't needed. And then heading tags. Header tags are H1, H2, H3, and 4. That you want to use the keyword as close to the beginning as possible, and it should be bolded. And all important words in caps, similar to the title. So these are some of the things that we have found that will help your content be understood by Google, part of SEO. And finally, we do track the results. Here's some of the reports that we look at and share with our clients monthly, but we just want to say, you can look at under behavior, there's pages, and then there's a report called landing pages. So since we're creating pages, we want to see what effect it has. So we can view a landing page report. It will tell us the number of visitors and those kinds of things, the amount of conversions that this page led to, and all that kind of thing. So that is the information that I have for you. I just wanted to mention, there's the tagging that I talked about in this section. Usually, most e-commerce systems will allow for those to be entered in off of the back end, the administrative section. I know for a fact that Magento and Ecommerce have a spot where you can just enter those tags. So, with that, I will end. And if you have questions, we'll start to review those that are in the chat box, and we'll get to those.